Josiah, what is going on, brother? I am much looking forward to diving into this because you have had a pretty good couple of months, man. Like things are picking up nicely. You're making some good progress. Traction is nice. But look, before we get into all of that, do you mind just giving a little introduction about yourself, what it is that you do, how you help people, etc.?
Yeah, my name is Josiah. I own a consulting company helping marketing agencies scale, book appointments, sign clients, create their offer, and yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Okay, cool. So just before we jumped onto the call, you were talking about some of your numbers. So you said that you closed the deal today, closed the
Yeah.
deal yesterday. You've got some objectives and some goals in mind. So do you mind sharing with us what is the goal right now? Where are you trying to get to?
First is 100K rev. We're trying to get to the first 100K. Last month we done 60K, and the month before we went from literally in 30 days doing around 35K, 30K, all the way to 60K, right? Consistently. So man, it's been the best investment I've done this year, 100%. The best investment, the best community, the best trainers, the best sales training, the best of the industry, man. Honestly, the way I'm talking right now shows you how much alliteration I'm using. And this is all from the program. Now, like, I know people are watching this, they're gonna be like, is this guy got paid to sell it, man? Jack could have not paid me millions to say it like this. But honestly, like it coming to it is being one of the best decisions I've made. Not only has it helped me sales, it's helped me with life as well. Right. That's the biggest thing that people don't understand. It helps you really convince people in your life to see your point of view, to become more articulate, to understand analogies on a different level, to understand strategic questionings, to get people to sell themselves on why it's the best idea for them. And the level of detail Jack goes into in the course, reviewing my course, helping me with the pitch. Oh my God. Like it's I honestly felt like it was the last thing missing. The last thing missing from the whole thing. Because it doesn't matter how many appointments you can get, it doesn't matter how good your offer is. But if you can't convince them on the phone, all of that is just lost. Right? All of the hard work is lost. And yeah.
It's
Sorry
very
about that intro.
we don't need to talk about it anymore. It's enough. No, I first and foremost, I agree with you. And this is one of the things that I never expected to get out of sales, right? Like like genuinely, it really helps you in life with your personal relationships, etc. It's kind of like the gym. You think that the main thing that you're going to get from the gym is just getting strong, but it helps you so much with discipline and mindset. And it's similar with sales. But I kind of want to take it back a little bit because I remember when I launched the product, right? And I was talking to you and I was like, Josiah, I feel like this could help, man. Like, I know you're getting tons of appointments. You were having issues with sales at that point in time. You wanted to scale. And you were like, I don't know. This is not the right time for me to do this. I was trying to give you a little bit of pushback. You weren't having any of it. But obviously, here we are now. But let's take it back to that point in time because you weren't in a horrendous situation. It wasn't ideal though. So how much were you making on a monthly basis before you jumped into the product? And what was your sales conversion rate before you jumped into the product?
So doing like 30K rev and like saying like 15K cash collected around that. And my closing rate, it was odd because some I'll close at 16%, then I'll close at like 12%, then I'll close at like 14%. So average I'll say like 14, 14.5, right? But the main thing I felt like I was just winging it, right? That was the main thing. And yeah, man, I wish I would have gone back to myself and just be, bro, man, just fucking invest, man. Just slap him in the head and just say, bro, just get in now. Because after I got in, life just changed. And before the way I was, it was like I felt like I knew how to sell, but at the end of the day, you don't know how to sell until the numbers tell you so. Do you know what I mean? If you don't have the numbers to back it up, you can lie yourself in the mirror, you can say X, Y, Z. But if you don't know how to sell consistently numbers day in and day out, like you can't prove it to yourself. And I didn't feel like I had that concrete numbers. It was too inconsistent for me to say, hey, I consistently close type of thing.
Okay, so let's talk about that then. How do you feel like the needle moved for you? Why do you now feel like you, beyond the numbers, why do you feel like now you can sell? What shifted? What helped you?
And I know what good looks like now. Do you know what I mean? I know what good looks like. It's like people try, like let's say you're trying to, I'm using an analogy again, right? From the program, right? Like let's say you're trying to shoot right now, right? And you're trying to make a free kick, right? And you think you know what a free kick looks like, you think you know what it looks like, but then Messi comes in and literally shows you how he does his free kicks, how he turns, how he swings the ball, then you realize, oh my God, that's what it looks like. And me looking through the course, your past call recordings, how you do it, navigating the objection phase, which is one of the biggest thing, and the pitch. Not great, because before I was coaching a lot on the course and I had to dial it back in. And even some things I didn't even know. Like I didn't know if you went too deep into the pitch, you're gonna raise an objection, right? I didn't even know that. I was like, well, I thought people wanted to know everything. But you're like, no, people don't want to know everything. They just want to know everything high level, what they want to know, right? And even learning things like that was like, oh my God, it was literally a game changer. And yeah, man, I can like the program, man. I know it took you a lot of time to build, but man, it was worth all the sweat and tears that you put into it.
Yeah. I'm not done yet, bro. I'm gonna drop another as soon as I get back from holiday. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to releasing that. But by the sounds of things to me, it is the detail, right? It's the nuances that really move things forwards. And I think what I find most exciting is last month, obviously you did 60K by yourself. You haven't even got to the stage yet where you're hiring closers. And
Yeah.
when you do hire closers, and I help you to crack that formula as well,
Yeah.
like the sky actually is the limit. Now we're talking about a quarter of a mil, 300,
Oh.
400, 500K a month. And that's going to be very, very exciting.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of talking about let's go, the flip side of this. What was it like when you were in that position where you didn't have the predictability? Because you've obviously been in a great situation. Your area of specialism is booking appointments. Appointment booking has never been an issue. You could always have tons of sales calls. But what was that like being in that position where you have the calls, but they're just not closing?
Yeah, it's a scary position, man. Honestly, it's a lot scary because you have to understand like appointments cost money, right? There's always a cost per call. There is always a cost per call, whether that's your time, whether there's an employee's time, X, Y, Z. Now, every time you book appointments, you see the potential money, right? But it's like imagine having a bag in front of you, you're chasing, you're trying to grab it again, but you never grab the whole bag. You never grab the whole bag. And that's why it felt like. It felt like I was chasing projections, but the projection will never turn into revenue that I thought I could have, right? Because you could book 100 appointments, and people are like, oh my God, I book 100 appointments, like I'm gonna close deals. Who said that? Like, who said all of them are gonna buy from me? Like, like there's no guarantee that all of them are gonna buy from me, right? But when I then learn about how to sell, like I can then predict, like, man, I'm gonna close 25, 35% again and again and again. And I know why. I know things are gonna come up, and I'm just very nuanced in that field. So that's how I felt like it's scary moments because of course at the end of the day you have you're paying for the revenue, you're paying for the appointments, but sometimes you break even, sometimes you make more, and then it's like, oh, you're not always like making use of all the appointments. It feels like money is literally like going through your hands. That's what it feels like. Money is going through your hands and you're not able to like capture all of that. And that was the biggest thing.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Just looping back then to sales conversion rate, because you said 25 to 30. What is your sales conversion rate at the moment?
So right now it's like 38%, but it is the start of the month. But I would say like the last 30 days has been a comfortable like 29-30,
Yeah,
29-30.
that's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. You've doubled your sales conversion rate, and as a result, you have doubled the size of the business, or rather the amount of money you're making with the business, which is huge. Okay, cool. I wanted to dive a little bit more into like the objection handling phase. What
Yeah.
were some of the key objections that were popping up for you time and time again before you jumped into the product? And how is it for you now, having the knowledge that you now have, navigating those objections?
Yeah. Number one is I would say the basis of it was the keeping frame, how important that was, right? Because you reset my standard saying instead of doing it for like 5 minutes, go for 40 minutes. And when you said 40 minutes, like, what? Like, that's the standard. I'm like, oh, I don't care. I'm looking at the clock, like the prospect giving objection, man, I've got time. Like, come on, let's go again. Right. And never keep never like breaking frame. I think you've seen my calls. The way I'm just so happy for getting them. I like bring them on. That's number one. But the main thing I would say is the main objection I got, honestly, was done for you, which was basically like a dime objection, right? Which your one honestly like worked so good. And then also the fear objection, of course, is the main objection that you're gonna get. Never done it before, fear of burning in the past. And now I am so certain, like I looked at my closes last month, right? And every single one of the closes that I managed was fear and money objection.
Yep. It's always time to think about it, money, and then fear. That's like the pathway that you're always
Yeah.
facing. That's crazy.
100%. And it was so crazy because every time I looked at the closes, I put in the tracker what objection they gave me. And every time I closed, it's been a money and a fear objection
Yeah.
consistently, every single time. Right. So it's like now I'm like, whoa, like I like every time the objection comes, I know how to be empathetic. And that was the biggest thing I struggled with, empathy. I remember you telling me, man, like, bro, you don't care about these prospects. And yeah, I had to do some self-reflection and of course walking through the attrition of angst, right? That part honestly really understanding like you're there to serve the prospect, and that was a very big change for me. That helped me close.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I was putting together the product, the main thing that I thought people would extract value from was literally just the scripts. Learn the
Yeah.
scripts, just say them word for word on the call with the right tonality. Happy days. But from what I have seen, it seems like the theory has been huge for you guys. And one thing that I know that you really, really enjoyed was the call breakdowns and call microscopy, right? So
Uh,
could you speak a little bit about the theory and how that helped you to understand how to approach the call, and then also being able to see the call breakdowns and call microscopy?
um Articles of attrition. Oh my god, what like it's the second video, and that video is I'm not going to go into much detail, but that video literally changes your eyes. Like literally you can see like I remember I watched the video and I sent you, I was like, I see light, like I see what I mean now, like I see the real thing in front of me, the real beast. And knowing the theory, it's because the words are okay, like the words are script, but like sometimes you can't make a script for everything that happens on the call. Like it's impossible. There's so many different scenarios. There's so many things, right? So when you don't know what to say, that's when the theory comes in, right? When you don't know what to say, that's when the theory. When the prospect is holding the truth, that's when the theory comes in, right? Like there's not like you being in the present, you can't teach someone to really care about someone. Like that's when the theory comes in. And not a lot of people know this, but I've just finished the third time going over the course, right? The third time. Like I've gone over that course more than so many other people. So going over the theory 3 times is like, oh my God, it's like, wow, you really understand. First time you think you understand it. Second time, like, okay, I'm missing it. Third time is like, wow, like this is what I mean. Right. And one thing I like about this course is one thing you do so well is once you're going through the scripts, once you're going through the microscopy, the theory plays out. You
Yeah.
can literally see T2, T1, T2, response one, response that. And then you literally see the theory play out in real life, right? And you do the course, and I'm going to go now to the microscopy. When you go to these calls, I'm going to always say the name wrong because Jack is going to kill me. Microscopy, micro, whatever, the micro calls, right?
You said it right.
Yeah, microscopy, right? Like that is the most valuable, one of the most valuable things. And when I say most valuable, I listen to it. I've gone through all the microscopy 6 times.
Oh wow.
Every time I go to the gym, I listen to that. I don't listen to music. Every time on the gym session, it's just you closing someone. That's all I want to hear. Right. And the first microscopy, if not, is the most important one because that shows you the power of keeping frame and knowing that, like, if someone gives you yes 7 times, what, 6 or 7 times, it
Yep.
doesn't mean that they're not going to buy.
Yep.
Right. It just means you need to chip away, chip away, chip away, chip away. Right. And the thing that does this to your brain, it just primes you for closing because then you have that expectation coming into the call. Right. And that was one of the biggest things that I've learned from them. So yeah, it's a 10 out of 10, man.
Awesome, bro. So I know earlier on we were talking about, the whole process of hiring closers now. I believe that you are either beginning the search for hiring closers or you're about to begin the search. How are you feeling about that side of things, right? Because
Yeah.
it's one thing for you to close, it's another thing for you to train somebody up on how to close like you are. How do you feel now having this knowledge in place? Do you feel comfortable in doing that, or do you not feel comfortable? Could you elaborate on that side of things a bit?
Yeah. So with the close the part, we're in the interview stage right now. We had a few interviews, got one in a few tomorrow. I'll probably hit you up about the ones I feel like are good. But man, I feel so confident in teaching someone how to close. The reason why is because the microscopy calls. I know, like if I hear someone's call recording, every 1 second I'm stopping. This, and that, this isn't that, this. Why did you say this with this tonality? You should have said this. You should have explored that. Why didn't you explore that? X, Y, Z. And that call microscopy literally teaches you how to audit your own sales calls, right? Bit by bit. And you can use that same analogy to audit other people's sales calls, right? And that's the main thing, because you know how close sounds like. You know when someone is on the edge, right? They just need that. And you also know when someone was never gonna buy, even if you gave it for them for free, right? And that's the main thing. And also I'll say reps as well. Like that's one of the biggest things that this helped me is like jumping on calls again and again and again and again. It of course helps because you have a full calendar, but it really just solidifies that knowledge. Like, hey, like I know what I'm doing because I've seen this copy a lot of times.
Yep. Okay, cool. Last two questions then. First question is, what would you say to somebody who's sitting on the fence, right? Maybe maybe they were kind of in the same situation that you were in, right? Where it was, yeah, I could get help from this. Yeah, I could improve my sales conversion rate, but do I really want to spend any money? Do I want to spend any time? What would you say to somebody like that?
This is the pitch, man, and be ready, guys. But Jack has done 2,000 hours and more, right, on sales calls again and again and again, selling the same thing to the same people with the same objections, right? What I'll say to them is you're losing more money not knowing how to sell than trying to figure out yourself, right? Because how many calls are you going to jump on again, get hit with the same objection again, and failing to handle it again and again and again? For how long can you keep doing this, right? And look at the end line. If it's just you, it's going to take you time to figure out how to master the objection handling phase, and even longer time to find a closer to replace you. So you're just in a long hamster wheel going again and round and around and around. Where if you just invest into it, it's a small investment in terms of how much money you're going to make. Like, I don't know if Jack said this, I literally closed my first client in 24 hours of being in the program, right? I came in the program, next day made an ROI. That's what I'm talking about ROI. And the thing is about this, like, it's the last missing piece of the client acquisition. It's the last missing piece. You can build a great offer, right? You can have great appointments. If you don't know how to sell, you've wasted the whole funnel, right? And then your competitors just pick that up. Okay, you've wasted that, and that's the main thing. Like, if you've already invested into appointment set, if you've already invested into offer, like this is literally the last part, the last door that you need to hit 50, 20, 100K per month, even your first 10K per month. Because honestly, I wish I'd done this sooner. I honestly wish I'd done this. Like, if I was like before 10K per month, right? This would be one of the first investments I would have done. Honestly, if I could go back, because knowing how to do that could literally shortcut the 10K per month to 50K per month, just like that, right? Could literally just shortcut the whole path to that. And that's what I'll say to the person, like, man, invest in yourself. Honestly, like, the program pays for itself, and the program pays for itself. Like, one client pays for the whole program. Like, it's a no-brainer, right? If you have sales calls, get in, get clients as soon as possible. It pays for itself. Then you go on with life. You know what I mean? You start scaling things up, right? And the thing about this program, it's continual improvement. It's continual ROI, right? Because every sales call you do, every sales call you make, and every sales call you enter, you're always going to get better, right? Every time you jump a coaching call, you're always going to get better, right? So it just compounds, right? So you may be like a level 1 at sales, but then you go to level 10 in just 30 days, because it took me 30 days to get there, right? So I know if you put the hard work into it, you join all the coaching calls, you ask as many questions, and book the community as well. And the community as well. If you jump it and you're not making money, man, like, bro, are you even part of us? That's the main thing. But yeah, man, just join. Just do it. Like, there's nothing else to say.
It is kind of crazy when you put it like that, right? Like, for you, in the space of 30 days, you added $30,000 to your business. And I hate to say this, Josiah, this is going to hurt you. Okay, you're going to feel this in the chest. Had you come in a month before, you would be up 30 grand right now. Right. So what you're saying is very true. And there's a massive argument to be made that taking action, getting yourself into that position, it really does cost you a lot of money by not pushing forwards. Okay, cool. Last thing that I want to ask you, and it's very open-ended. If you don't have anything that you want to say, that's also fine. But is there anything else that you wanted to bring to the table that you think would be useful for people to know?
Come in with the expectation that I'm going to work hard, I would say. don't feel like of course you're gonna get the best system in the market. You're gonna get the best training in the market. But you have to be the type of person that goes through the training, asks questions, jump in the role plays. Like the role plays are one of the scariest things. Like you're going to strangers and trying to handle an objection, and someone is looking at you, examining you, every single word that you say, everything like that. But just don't be frightened. Like honestly, like it's there to make you better because Jack always says it. I'd rather you mess up in the role plays now than mess up on the real call. Right, because the role plays, there's no money attached to it. The call, there's $5,000, $10,000 attached to all the other calls. So I would say that, and I would say, yeah, take action. Go through the tracking sheet, the progress tracker, and actually go through the course multiple of times. Right, I would like it's honestly amazing how much things you missed the first time, right? Because you're just trying to get through it quickly. When you go back, you really digest it, you really sit time with the scripts and everything like that is the most important thing. Also, memorize the scripts, right? The thing is about memorizing the script is like first you're gonna say exactly how Jax wants you to say it, right? And then you can keep practicing. But when you're in calls, you then say it the way you say it, right? So it comes, you can drive more emotion behind all of them, all right? And one biggest thing that we didn't even say is the active listening part, right? Throughout the whole microscopy, you're gonna realize like what active listening really means. Like what's like a yes, maybe like a yes, probably, right? That difference can literally turn the whole call around, right? So you're going to learn things that you've never learned before. I promise you, you have never learned before. You think you have until you come in and realize, man, I have never learned it like this, right? You're going to meet people that honestly will drive you to the top. You're always going to get support, always going to get support each and every single step of the way, right? So the only thing you need to do is just show up every day. That's the only thing,
I
right? And
really agree with this. Sorry to cut you off. Go on, go on.
no, that was it. That was it. Yeah.
I really agree with this because, like, genuinely, and I think you can tell as well, like, I put my heart and soul into this. Like, I've made sure that there's no stone left unturned. But if people aren't willing to do the work to get to their own goals, 10K, 50K, 100K, a million a month, whatever it might be, if they're not willing to put in the time and effort to change their own life, even if you have something like this that is this detailed, you don't deserve it. Is the honest truth. You actually don't deserve to get to where you want to be. But look, bro, even just hearing you talk about these different nuances in sales, I feel so confident in your ability to now take that knowledge and implement it into somebody else. And so I'm really, really excited to see what happens in the next 3 months, the next 6 months, because you're going to go through that period of exponential growth where the business just takes off. I know that this must have been like a massive change for you, like going from 30K to 60K in the space of 1 month, but you have no
Yeah.
idea what is about to come next. So I look forward to seeing that. But Josiah, man, I really appreciate the time. And again, well done on all.
100%. And I want to say, like, get it now because Jack is leveling up. So yesterday's price is not today's price. So get it now while it's early. Like honestly, as it goes up, like you wish you would have got it in earlier rather than later. Honestly. So get in as soon as possible, man.
Awesome. Well, look, bro, I appreciate it. And I will speak to you again soon. All the best.
All right, bye.